Alrighty, let's see, what do we got? We got, oh, it's Labor Day, Memorial Day, one of them days. It's a holiday of some kind. I think maybe Labor Day. Yeah, sounds like Labor Day. Yeah, so I was working on this client early this morning, or well, my morning, and we were discussing, discussing kids, because, it came up, we were talking about how it's stupid because they just got into school like last week, and here we go with, like with a 3-day weekend, blah, 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 whatever. Why don't you just extend it out another week in June, and, keep them out all the way through? I don't know. So, anyways, we started talking, and she was telling me that her daughter is 4, yeah, 4, and she, this is her, her first round in school, brand new, didn't do, the whole, preschool thing, and all that good stuff, and Mom was telling me that, how she's going to talk to the teachers because she didn't feel that that it was appropriate for her to to say the Pledge of Allegiance because it had the word God in it, and she followed this up by saying, like, she had worked out a system with her daughter where she was where the daughter was going to says dog instead of God, and okay, so this is a fucking 4-year-old that Mom is, because Mom is is an atheist, and I mean I have no problem with atheism, or any any kind of belief or or identity. I mean that one portrays upon themselves. Hey, great, good for you. You want to be an atheist? Be an atheist. Cool, cool, cool. But my concern was that she was essentially making her daughter already be the weird kid. This little girl's a week into school, and she, as soon as one of her little friends catches on that that she's that she's saying dog instead of God, then they're gonna be like, oh, you're weird. You said you must believe in dogs, as God, and and I mean, this little kid is gonna get ostracized, and I mean, that old term, kids can be cruel. I can just see this fucking shit happening to this, really bright, really cute little, little girl that, just barely starting off, and all of a sudden, it's going to be, she's going to be, on the outside looking in. Not because, because I think that it's wrong. I think it's a fair argument, separation between church and state. Great, I think, the atheists, get a bum deal on that, because everybody who has some kind of a belief in a higher power and in one way or another will not have a problem with the term God. At least if they sit down and think about it for half a second, they won't, because okay, God kind of encompasses everything. It's not, they're not saying Jesus Christ, they're not saying Muhammad or Buddha or anything. It's not one nation under only the guy with the mustache and the wavy gravy hair and all that good stuff. I mean, okay, so it's not saying that. So so atheists kind of they take it in the ass, and yeah, we if we go back and we start talking about our founding fathers and all that bullshit, and why we came here, and that and or why why the it's, all the white guys came over and conquered a well, excuse me, populated a country that was, or discovered a country that was already discovered. Yeah, we're going in a whole different direction with that shit too. But okay, so here's my thought. So Okay, you know what? Yes, yeah, you're right. The separation of church and state, totally get it. It makes sense, absolutely. The problem is that because we are a society that's predominantly Christian, but also is predominantly religious or spiritual, in some way, shape, or form. That this is something that she's going to have to deal with for forever, just like the rest of us. I mean, back in high school, I used to tell people I was an atheist because I love the shock value. I love to watch people go, "You're an atheist," and of course, small town Colorado was like, "Oh my God, he's the weird one." That was by my choice. That was not by that was not like my parents telling me that this is what I'm going to do and that I'm going to go against like the standards of society, or the majority of society. I guess I won't say standards. I'll say the majority of society. When I was at such a young, impressionable age where where the emphasis should be more on on how to deal with people in society in general. So it pissed me off, not because like I said, I have no problem with religion, with spirituality. I have no problem with atheism. I have no I mean, do what you want to do, believe what you want to believe, anything that that you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Then I say go for it. Fuck it, But but to take your kid and to essentially see, it's just it's essentially it's what the religious the organized religion parents do as well. Like, we're Christian, you're going to be Christian, this is our beliefs, this is the way we are. Same thing is happening, in this scenario. But the problem with working in this scenario is that you're making your young child go against the grain. You're making that kid, you're turning that kid into into a misfit, before she's old enough to determine whether or not she wants to be a misfit. But I mean, maybe she, like I said, the argument is correct. I get that. But it's also a losing argument, in public schools, in this country, at this day and time. You're not gonna. It's not like there's she's going to go into her into her kindergarten class, and there's going to be there's going to be 90% atheists in there, and and she'll and be one of those kids. I mean, to tell a child that they believe in something or not believe in something, that I feel is wrong. My opinion is that you tell them everything, all available options, and and you let them choose, and you take them to church. You show them what the what goes on there. So it's not like this mystery thing. You also take them to you take them out, and you take them to Wiccan events, and Buddhist Buddhist like temples, and and expose them to everything out there, and let them make their own informed choice, rather than, here you go, here's what it is, this is us. And I think I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people or a lot of kids rebel against what they what they were brought up as, is, not only as a fuck you mom and dad, I'm a teenager, and or teens, or I just want to get the hell away from you because I don't believe in anything that you do or or say, and I just want to prove to you that I'm my own individual person. I think that's that's really I don't know. I believe is what I'm going to do for my own kids. I'm going to give them the options, and I'm not going to do anything that, that will put them in a position where they are going to be on the outside looking in from jump. Because, if they, at least if they go with the flow a little bit, in the beginning, and, it's, the other thing, about this whole situation is it's not like they're saying, like, you're going to pray, or you're going to read, this, this Bible, this book, you're going to believe this, it's the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, I understand that under God was added, in the 50s, at least so I've been told. I might actually have to fucking research that shit. But it's also the Pledge of Allegiance. We have the ability and the right, to decide on what we want to believe, and if we don't want to believe in God, and if we do want to believe in God, and what God we want to believe in, is all due to where we live. I mean, yeah, we might be ostracized for what we believe, but at least we can do it, and not in the fear of of getting shot by the ruling party, or just not to that extreme sometimes, but sometimes yes. I mean, you fucking look at every almost major war, that we got. It's always, some kind of organized religion is pulling strings behind it. But, I think we got it. I think we got it pretty good around here that we can actually make those decisions and and actually say it publicly and not live in fear about what we believe or don't believe. And so saying the Pledge of Allegiance and and understanding the little bit of a patriotism behind that, I believe is is the bigger picture kind of thing that you're looking at when it comes to the Pledge of Allegiance. So I don't know. That's all. I was thinking. I feel sorry for this little girl. She's going to be, she's going to have an uphill battle like all the way in. When if mom just waited a few years and and actually educated her kid to it, maybe she would understand why she she didn't want to say under God in the classroom, and it wouldn't just be because my mommy doesn't believe in God, and so therefore I have to be the weird one too. Fucking parents mess their kids goddamn up. Fuck. Well, anyway, that's my diatribe for the night. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. I know